Welcome to this video, where we'll discuss the latest news about Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown. There was some news shared by the developers last week, news that kind of slipped under the radar, for a very simple reason. Right now, there's a lot of news about racing games, especially about Forza, Horizon 6, and Clutch. And these are games that are taking up a lot of space. They left very little room for news about TDU. Still, the developers published a new letter to the community in which they shared quite a bit of news and information about the game. Unfortunately, there are very little good news and I think a lot of bad news. It's up to you to tell me what you think in the comments. But from my point of view as a longtime Test Drive Unlimited player, since TDU 1, which came out 20 years ago, I personally still consider this to be bad news. So today, we're going to talk about everything that's been announced for the future of the game, including Seasons 7, 8, and 9. These are seasons that will be released in a very particular context. Remember, we talked about it a few weeks ago. Cater Racing, the studio that develops Test Drive Unlimited, belongs to Nacon, which is the company that publishes and sells Test Drive Unlimited. And Nacon itself belongs to a bigger company called Big Ben. This company is currently facing major financial difficulties, and which had to urgently launch a new financial crisis plan, allowing it to reduce its operating costs, to recover enough money to pay its debts and simply avoid disappearing for good. And unfortunately, Nacon and Kiloton Racing are among the video game studios owned by Big Ben. They will have a smaller budget and smaller teams to develop their future games, and inevitably, with fewer developers and less money, the support for Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown will definitely be affected. And that's more or less what the developers explained to us in this new letter to the community. And there are major features that were supposed to come with Season 7 that simply won't be coming. What's happening in this very complicated situation is that the developers at Cater Racing had to choose which features and which seasons would be developed as a priority, and they decided to bet everything on Season 8, which is not the next season. Right now, we're in Season 6. The next one is Season 7, and Season 8 is still after that. Probably not before, let's be generous. 4, 5, maybe 6 months. Season 8 is the one the developers are really counting on, for the simple reason that it will add the house buying and decorating system. It's an RP feature that longtime TDU fans really love. So this will come with Season 8, and the developers are really counting on it to simply bring people back to the game. They think it will give TDU good visibility. And that's really what they should focus on, rather than other features. And actually, a major feature that was planned for Season 7 just won't be coming. It's the overhaul of the multiplayer mode. Basically, what was supposed to happen with Season 7 is that the current multiplayer mode of TDU was supposed to be completely redone from scratch. Right now, the multiplayer has a big problem. Each event has a different lobby. There are about 250 events on the map, so when you're looking for multiplayer, meaning other players to race with at a given event or on a given track, the game absolutely tries to find other players who are also looking for people on that same event. But since there aren't many players on Solar Crown's multiplayer, sometimes you have to wait for hours just to find even a single other player to start the multiplayer race you were looking for. So that's a big problem. Instead, they want to put in a new centralized lobby system where all the players who want to play multiplayer are gathered in the same place before choosing the event. This system is called the Racing Center. It was supposed to come out for Season 7, but it's been postponed to an undetermined date for now. It won't be coming for Season 7. It probably won't be coming for Season 8 either, because, well, the developers are really focusing on what was already planned for this one, which means it won't happen before Season 9, which means, as you can understand, that there's a chance it won't happen for maybe 7 to 8 months. And that's really a shame. So this Season 7 instead will be a completely traditional season without that many big new features. Well, actually, there is still some good news about this Season 7. Especially the fact that it will focus on adding new Japanese cars like the Nissan Skyline R34. That's a really cool car. I think we're all happy about that it's coming to Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown. But let's be honest, at least that's my personal opinion, this car should have been in the game at launch. I think it's a car that will make longtime players of the game happy, but I'm not sure it's a car that's recent enough or high-end enough to convince new players to buy TDU. Especially since this car won't be a free reward either. To unlock it, you'll have to reach level 15 of the Season 7 pass. And if I'm not mistaken, usually only the first and last rewards of the Season Pass are free. So basically, the one at level 1 and the one at level 50, the ones in between aren't. When it comes to cars, usually those are paid rewards. So there's a good chance that this Nissan R34, which is still one of the main additions of this Season 7, will end up being paid. At level 1, there will be another Japanese car to win, a new addition that hasn't been revealed yet. And it's the same for level 50, another free car to unlock. So, not many cars. The multiplayer mode has been postponed to an unknown date. And there's more bad news. I think it's a bad decision from the developers, but Let me know what you think in the comments. But the price of a lot of paid items, in real money, is going to increase. In fact, quite a few things are going to change in the test drive store. First of all, there will no longer be limited time rotations. Up until now, there were paid packs, skins, car, or character customization that were only available for a limited time. You had to buy them during a certain period, and if you missed that window, well, unfortunately, you were out of luck. You couldn't buy them anymore. Now, all new paid packs will be available continuously. The game's Season Pass, which is called the Solar Pass, and contains, just to remind you, the Nissan R34 will go from costing 600 diamonds, which is about 5 to 6 euros, to 1,000 diamonds. So it'll nearly double, meaning you'll pay about 10 euros for all the update's bonus content. That's a tough price increase to justify because, well, there isn't more content than before. If there were twice as many things in the pass, maybe paying twice as much would make sense. But here, it's the same amount of content, yet the price is going up. Of course, I understand that Test Drive is in a bit of a complicated financial situation. They need money to keep developing the game. But I'm afraid we're getting to the point where this will discourage players from buying. In the end, there will be a lot fewer players willing to pay a bit more for this new Season Pass. There's still some good news in all this. The developers have confirmed that they are indeed working on a fully offline version of TDU Solar Crown. Right now, if you want to play the game, you absolutely need to have an internet connection, and you absolutely have to be connected to the server, which means that when the servers are down, you can't play the game. And it also means that if one day Test Drive Solar Crown were to disappear, if, for example, the studio goes completely bankrupt, and with a studio that can no longer afford to pay for its servers, shutting down the servers would mean the death of the game. Because, well, without servers, it's impossible to connect to Solar Crown to play. So the developers are indeed preparing an offline mode, which will allow you to play even when the servers are completely disconnected. So that's already good news, because it means that we paid for a game, and we should be able to play it anytime, even in 30 years. But it also means that, in theory, if we have access to the whole game locally, with all the files, including the server files, it will probably give us more freedom. To potential modders who might later decide to create new features or new cars for the game themselves. On the other hand, it might also mean the end of Test Drive. Solar Crown might arrive sooner than expected. I don't want to be dramatic, but TDU definitely belongs among open-world racing games. The map is great, and with a steering wheel, it's the most realistic open-world racer now. There's real potential, so I just hope TDU bounces back from this difficult period. But the fact that the developers are already starting to work on an offline mode, even though they had said that originally, they hoped they'd never have to make something like this because they wanted the game to last for 10 years. That might mean we're a bit closer to the end than we thought. Still, it's a major feature to develop. I think they have to rethink pretty much every aspect of the game, all the different elements. It's a big deal. It's not just about adding online play. The entire game was designed for multiplayer, so creating a full solo mode is a major undertaking. As we mentioned at the start of the video, the developers right now don't have a lot of resources. They can only focus on one big project at a time. And I don't think for now, it's possible to see this feature coming. Before maybe Season 10. Something like that. I think the offline mode for Solar Crown won't arrive for at least a year, or even a year and a half. And I just wanted to point out that right now, it's Season 7. For now, there's no official release date. The developers are aiming for a season release around late August or early September. Nothing is certain. Nothing has been officially announced on this point, which means it's possible it could be delayed again. And even if it comes out in early September, that would make the current season, Season 6, last more than 6 months anyway. Some bad news anyway. And above all, the developers are working really hard on Season 8, which means if Season 8 is a flop, if there are bugs, if there are things to criticize about this season, we simply risk the end of the game. Because this is probably the most expensive season to make, the one that will take the most time. And if it doesn't work, well, they don't really have any tricks left up their sleeve to try to turn things around. So that's it for the TDU news. I don't really know what to think. I'd be tempted to say that things aren't looking very good. But on the other hand, I still hope to see TDU make a comeback. Maybe it will match the first two. Who knows? Share your thoughts in the comments. Follow me on Twitch for upcoming streams and use Twitch Prime to support me for free. And of course, also use my stand limit link below this video to buy your games for less. It helps support my channel at the same time. See you very soon for the next video. Bye.